Hello and welcome to the podcast Who Remembers. This episode we are remembering spontaneous human combustion.
The very first draw in Britain's new national lottery.
Sinclair believe their C5, Britain's first mass-produced electrical car,
has something called the internet.
Got sharking, festive, but none of the locals go paddling. Yeah, that's warming.
No bottomless gate! I can't speak!
You can't win anything with kids.
Pac-Man, one of the superstar video games in the business.
Did you threaten to overrule him?
Get fooled, you can't get fooled again.
Remember when it's the lowest form of conversation.
Right, so
Bit of a left field, wasn't it?
I was going to say it's a clickbait title, but it's not because I don't know anyone a clickbait. What we're going to use this for, realistically, I believe, is just basically unusual deaths of the past. But we wanted to use spontaneous combustion as the sort of the what's the word the anchor that hold it all together. The hook. It's not an anchor, is it? That holds things together.
No, this is how we're going to reel you in.
That's it.
And then once we've discussed spontaneous human combustion, we'll go on to the broader field of unusual deaths. And the reason why we're not saying who remembers unusual deaths is because we don't necessarily remember some of these.
No, but we do remember, or I remember. My dad used to have loads of these unexplained books. I don't know if your dad had the same. I don't know where he got them from. Like about 12 unexplained chronicles like books. And in almost all of them, if I remember rightly, there were pictures of people who had spontaneously combust.
Well, the famous picture was like a set of legs next to some ash, or some feet. That was, and like, I mean, I don't know how much sort of research you've done. I haven't actually done very much, believe it or not. But so it's I don't know how it can be living, or recently deceased. So it can happen to you when you're alive or recently died, and without any apparent source of ignition. The body appears to burn.
Burst into flames, basically.
And but the unusual thing is it seems to burn in such a way that doesn't have much impact on the things around it.
Yeah, so I've got actually an example, right? In 1980, this is quite recent as well, Henry Thomas was found, or what was left of Henry Thomas, was found by the police in his home. And they were greeted with just some legs below the knee and a skull. And his legs had still had the socks and trousers on him, untouched by the fire.
Yeah, which I mean, as a sort of logical man, I don't understand.
No,
there are reported cases of this, but
if people are burned, realistically, why would the whole of the bottom half sort of still, or the extremities not have burnt with it? I don't understand it.
So the characteristics, and this is from Wikipedia. So, as most things we actually research are, but the British Medical Journal in 1938, there was they cited an 1823 published book, Medical Jurisprudence, which I don't even know what that means. Nah. But that there was reporting it back then of spontaneous human combustion, and they found the characteristics that they recorded were chronic alcoholics. They're usually, I could take that one. They're usually elderly females.
Again, another one for you.
2 out of 2. The body has not burned spontaneously, but some lighted substances come into contact with it. So what they're suggesting is, and this is the sort of thing I think, maybe like a smoker who drops a cigarette on themselves, or a candle, someone was going to bed and they fell asleep.
So I've read that there's been 200 cited reports in the last 300 years of people spontaneously combusting, but most forensic...
So I've not finished the characteristics yet.
I know, but I was saying though, what you say, most forensic experts do believe that there were external causes, like as you said, like dropping a match or whatever.
Yeah, which then means it's not spontaneous combustion, is it? It's just something burning. So the whole thing is based on the premise that it's probably not a thing. But the hands and feet usually fall off. That's a mad characteristic, isn't it? That one.
Yeah.
And this is the one that makes it most interesting. The fire has caused very little damage to combustible things in contact with the body. So. Again, I can't give you a quotable example, but I'm almost certain I've seen pictures where it's like the armchair somebody sat on has blackened but not fully burned, whereas the body seemingly has. And the last one, the combustion of the body has left a residue of greasy and fetid ashes. Very offensive in odour. Again, I don't know what fetid means.
No, feta cheese. I think that, like I say, in my dad's unexplained books, obviously these unexplained books, there's a lot of shit in them, like, a lot less monster, UFOs and all that. But I always remember...
I lent one to your dad, and the sheer joy on his face when he saw it.
He loves them.
There was a talking mongoose in it.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, talking mongoose. Yeah, but he used to have them like as a really young child. He used to shit me up seeing these, like, because it was like a chapter on spontaneous combustion, and like you say, that's one what you've just mentioned really sticks out to me, where it'd just be arms and legs and then a chair, and you and you're thinking that could happen to me
you're
now.
a bit of a worrier, aren't you? Did you ever?
Oh yeah,
because I think you said you messaged Ben, aren't you? And he
Ben
responded.
Blake's yeah.
He always used to worry that he was going to spontaneously combust.
He was petrified as it. I never actually thought it had happened to me, but it was that sort of thing where I thought, like, I don't know, I've had lots of panic attacks and stuff in the past, in my early years, in my 20s, and I never actually thought I'm going to burst into flames. But if anyone's ever had a panic attack, you feel like you're burning up, and you sort of. And I imagine, I don't know, maybe subconsciously something were in there thinking, oh my God, I am going to explode and burst into flames.
This could be worrying for me because, like, some research done into it did suggest, like, high alcohol consumption, which...
And a woman, yep.
Yeah, I'm not an alcoholic, but I do have a drink at the weekends.
Yep.
Also, ketosis, which is something that I do when I try and lose weight, which is like your body goes into a very acidic, flammable state, apparently. So... Yeah, who knows? If you don't hear from me one week,
well, just presume that you burst into flames.
Just find my feet. Yeah.
Can I give you another story? Another what do you call it? Case.
Please do.
A case. Yeah. Janine Safin. So someone actually witnessed this one. She was 61 years old when she died, but she had the mental development of a 6-year-old. According to her father, who was 82 at the time, he and Janine were both sitting in the kitchen, and he saw a bright surge of light out of the corner of his eye and turned to ask his daughter if she'd seen it. To his amazement, this is like a joke. When he turned his head to look at her, she was completely on fire, but with her hands on her lap. So he yanked her over to the sink to try and put out the flames. He disfigured his hands in the process. She suffered full thickness on burns to her face, her hands, and her abdomen, to the point where, that just burnt off. She died, but her legs were still there. She literally burst into flames apart from her legs.
Which...
That's Janine Safin's father saying it, so unless you're calling him a liar, then...
Yeah. No, but again, no, it's anecdotal, isn't it? It's hearsay. There's no... I get it that he thinks that's real, but if he had
do you imagine looking at the corner of your eye, like, say, like, I don't know, you sat there with your dad or something watching football, and then like, you just go, what's that?
Look at him,
he's literally on fire, burning. It'd be absolutely incredible, wouldn't it?
I think that'd be like the biggest double take of your life, wouldn't it?
You would like think, like, what the, like, I just mad. But we thought we'd use that to go into other unusual deaths. I used to have a book, which I can't find anymore, called I Told You I Was Ill, which had loads of unusual deaths in it. We're not going to be having any from that because I couldn't find it, despite searching for it. But what I want to bring up, and I don't know if you watched it before we started, Liam, were Franz Reichelt, the French inventor who invented a wearable parachute that he hoped aviators would use to help them survive falls should they need to jump out of a plane at some point. Did you watch this video?
No, because on this laptop, it's not signed into my YouTube account, and it said I must verify my age.
Yes.
And so I assume it's fairly shocking. As you sort of explaining it, I'll try and watch along on my phone.
Yeah, fair enough. So it is. You can get this on YouTube. Just put in Franz Reichelt. So this guy, like I say, he wanted to invent a parachute so people could jump out of airplanes, basically, and survive falls. But he had a lot of really experiments into this, and he used to try and use his parachute to heights as high as 39 foot, but none of them were ever successful, and he even once broke his leg. So what he thought is he had no doubt that his suit was the real deal. He never had any doubt that there was anything wrong with it.
Despite it repeatedly failing.
Yeah, what he thought is the heights that he was jumping from were too low, so it didn't have time for the parachute to expand. So What'd you do next? He went to the Eiffel Tower.
Go higher.
Yeah. So on 4th of February 1912, he jumped from the lowest deck of the Eiffel Tower, which is still 187 foot. And like I say, there's footage of this, and it's one of those things that's so ridiculous that it's funny, but it isn't, because you can sort of see him teetering on the edge with his massive. He just looks like he's in rags of clothes, like he's got bedclothes on him and stuff. He's so big, his suit, and he's like sort of teetering on the edge like an Eiffel Tower. And then he just jumps, and I'm not messing. I mean, it's not a surprise, but he literally sinks like a stone. Like, sort of just, there's not a bit of it that like sort of floats at all. He is literally, he may as well not be wearing anything, and he just straight to the floor, bang, dies.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the sort of faith in what he was doing, but he's had multiple failures, so he's just gone higher. It's like, even if he survived that and shattered every bone in his body, would he just have gone higher again?
The best thing about it, he's got people with him, like sort of like a crowd came to watch it, like, oh, here he is, look, oh, he's gonna fly, and then at the end of the footage, people like holding him. He's dead, obviously, and they're like holding his body. Everyone looks really concerned and really shocked that this has happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it's certainly unusual. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So he died, and yeah, unfortunately, he's sadly no longer with us. What you got for me, Liam? What other unusual deaths have you got for me?
Where's your brother? He died. It just made me think of that for any XFM fans. So, he's talking about starving people in Africa and Pilkington. And Gervais he offers to give him some grain and water and stuff like that. But anyway, Pilkington says, well, what's your solution then? Just give him a buffet. He says, give him a sandwich. Oh, yeah, it turns up again the next year. Well, I want another sandwich. Where's your brother? He died. Anyway, so mine. And I've gone for the first one I think we might have nearly died from as well. So this is why I've gone for this one. It's listed on a website called Funera. My screen's cracked, so that's why I'm struggling to read it. Funera.
Unbelievable technology flying around.
Yeah, it's listed as death by politeness. So this is the death of the brilliant Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe, or Brahe. He had an extraordinary life, as well as a ridiculous death. Working without a telescope, he established positions of stars, true nature of comets. He had a tame elk and a fake nose because he'd lost his own in a duel. So a bit of an eccentric character to start with.
Yeah.
But basically what happened, he was at a banquet.
I love a duel, by the way. Duel's such a good word. Like, what happened? How could you get an analogy, get into a fight? I was involved in a duel.
I was involved in a duel, yeah.
A duel. Go on, sorry.
So he died at a banquet because he really, really needed the toilet. And he was too polite to say that. So he just sat, and basically his bladder burst.
What?
So people thought he'd been poisoned at the time. But yeah, people sort of said to him, why haven't you been to the toilet? And he said, it'd be an unpolite thing to do in the banquet.
And rightly so. You don't want to be disrespectful in someone else's house, do you?
No. So, and what it made me think of is when we went to Coventry away.
Oh, God. Very similar to, what's his name, this guy, the astronomer.
Yeah, Brahe.
We lost our nose in a duel on the way to Coventry.
Yeah, we had several cans. We positioned several comets in the sky. No, but we basically.
Oh God, I know.
Most people on a minibus had been drinking cans of lager. We'd either missed a stop or the toilet wasn't working on the minibus, or so there was some reason why everyone needed a toilet. And then it was getting to a point where kind of everyone on the bus was saying, "Oh, we're really gonna have to stop here. We're really gonna have to stop." And the driver sort of said, "Look, guys, 5 minutes, and we're there. Honestly, just give me 5 minutes."
I need a wee now thinking about this, by the way, again.
We got there, and he went, "Oh, no. Oh, shit, sorry, guys. I've put the training ground in the sat-nav." So
yeah, he tried to Coventry City training ground, yeah.
So like, what? Or he'd put something wrong in anyway, whether it was a training ground. And then it was like another 20 minutes. And it was at a point where, like, I honestly can't explain how it was just pure pain. Like, I didn't have any other experience other than it just...
And everyone on the coach, to me, it can't have been like this, but every single person on this minibus was just holding. holding the crotch, like looking like really ill. Like everybody was
We're getting like seriously to within seconds of people just having to piss themselves,
yeah.
basically, weren't it? And
Well,
the second
another
they
thing is-
stopped,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
jumped
yeah,
off the bus and just released, kind of almost just
unbelievable
at the side of the road. Didn't even sort of find a bush or
everybody.
anything.
There must have been 15 people at the side, all of them, like
Yeah,
unbelievable.
it's not pleasant, but yeah, I thought we nearly died, and we weren't being polite. We were getting quite angry.
No, really
yeah,
angry.
there were
at
no
one point.
available toilets.
But the thing is with that as well is because this happens as well, where when someone says, "Oh, we're nearly there, you can have a wee in a minute," you're relaxed, don't you?
Yeah, you think,
go,
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, here we go.
It was like the
And then
double hit,
that is-
weren't it? Yeah.
I've learned from then never do that again. So if I'm on a journey, you always get a bit mad with me, don't you? Because when we're on our Chapel St Leonard road shows, I always down a bottle of water,
guzzling a bottle of water, and then need a toilet quite quickly. You get through a full bottle in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then last time we stopped and you bought a bottle of beer, obviously I was driving, and then you guzzled that down in about 20 minutes to a point where it was becoming a problem as we got there. But I think you made it.
Yeah, but what I've learned to do, if you'd have said, "Oh, next right, I think there's some services," I wouldn't have relaxed after that day, because once you start relaxing, there's no going back. That's when the pain
it's the hope
starts.
that kills you, isn't it?
It is. It's the hope that kills you. I've got one here, Liam. The death of Frank Hayes. Have you heard about this?
Don't think so. Don't think I came across it.
Irishman Frank Hayes wanted to be a jockey, but he weighed around 142 pounds, which is much heavier than most jockeys. Anyway, he goes to New York to work as a trainer for racehorses.
Only 10 stone. That's not. I suppose maybe in the jockey world, but that's not massively heavy, is it?
Right, don't come at me next, Liam, because you know more about science than I do. But this is what I've read. The owner of one of the horses says, if you can lose £10 in one day, you can ride my horse called Sweet Kiss. Somehow he lost £12 in a day. Is that possible?
No, I think that's plausible. I know sort of boxers getting sweatsuits and saunas, and it's very much frowned upon now. But I think a 24-hour fast and sort of extreme water weight loss, I think that's possible. I think it's harder the smaller you are, obviously. So that's probably a big weight loss for a smallish guy to start with.
Yeah. Anyway, so he finally gets to be a jockey, and his debut race is in 1923, where he rides Sweet Kiss, a 20 to 1 outsider at the Belmont track. He manages to get off to an unbelievable start, and he's with the front runners. Then suddenly the horse just goes into another gear and goes ahead of the other horses. Hayes passes the finish line. The horse wins by a head. And the owner of Sweet Kiss, the guy who's obviously said, "You can ride my horse," comes running over to congratulate him. As it gets to him, Hayes falls to the floor, face down. Turns out he's had an heart attack halfway through the race, and he was dead by the time he crossed the finish line. He's still the only person in horse racing history to win whilst dead.
I mean, it'd be strange if it was a common feature, wouldn't it? Like, imagine if it was top of a list of like 20 people, you'd think, hold on, something's not right here.
Hang on a minute, what's going on here? I find that, I don't know, imagine that. I mean, I think that's a lesson for us all, isn't it? Don't give up, even if you die. Imagine being that good, you die, and you still win. This guy could have been the best jockey of all time.
Died as a winner.
But, obviously, you're right, what you've just been saying. What gave him the heart attack were all that sudden weight loss. So don't try it at home,
think,
kids.
yeah, I think a loss of salt, which can cause you to have a heart attack when you lose a lot of water. But boxers, it's normally brain injuries. I know it's different because they're getting hit, but it's normally if the lining of your brain starts to lose moisture that I think it's sort of brain sort of shrinks away a little bit and it can bounce around.
Because I had a colonoscopy not too long ago, and I had to have loads of laxatives. Could I have died?
What, from laxatives?
Yeah.
Well, no, because if you didn't have the ability to sort of drink water at the same time, I suppose so. But no, you weren't. They didn't just lock you in a room and give you a load of laxatives, did they?
No, but I wonder. Yeah, but it felt like that anyway. Anyway, the horse it was obviously called Sweet Kiss. You know what they renamed it after?
Kiss of Death.
Yes, the Sweet Kiss of Death. What a name for an horse! Old Frankie boy went down in the history books as the only jockey ever to win whilst dead. So hope for everybody out
there. Yeah, okay. I'll move on to my next one. So I was surprised you didn't pick this one because this came up quite high on a lot of the the charts, to be honest. Like when I searched unusual deaths and things. So I love this one. This is, I mean, it's one of these kind of Greek philosophers. I think he's called Chrysippus. It was he moved to Athens. Again, I'm doing some live Wikipedia research here, but I have read this before, but I can't remember the bit I wanted to read out. So he excelled in logic, theory of knowledge, ethics, and physics. He had a really good understanding of the universe, thought everything was sort of linked together. The death itself, so there's a couple of versions, but the one I'm going to go with, because it's the one that I really like, is that he basically saw a donkey eating some figs, and he found it that funny, he laughed himself to death. He literally laughed himself to death. They had a fit of laughter. Why?
Hang on a minute. There's a joke in Monty Python. I don't know what Monty Python film it is. That was now something completely different, where he says a writer wrote a joke that funny that he laughed himself to death and didn't finish it. It's still like the funniest joke ever made.
So actually, there's another account as well so there's one where he found it that funny that the donkey was eating figs that he laughed himself to death. There's another one where he said he was watching the donkey eat some figs, and he said out loud, "Now give the donkey a drink of pure wine to wash down the figs." And he found his own remark that funny that he died.
That's worse. Laughing at your own jokes is worse, isn't it?
I don't know if it's good material.
Yeah. Imagine that, laughing at your own joke. We nearly died, actually, ourselves from laughing. Another one that we nearly died from. I mean, you might... This might be the most I've ever laughed. I can't think of one. Our mate, Russ. You know what I'm going to say here, Liam?
We did have lots of good moments with Russ. So I don't know.
I think...
Because I remember... I'm not sure I'm thinking the same one as you, but yeah, tell me what you're thinking of.
When we were playing pool, and...
Dobson's funeral.
No, I wasn't at that. But
I thought that's where it was. Was it not? But yeah, okay.
No, but we were playing pool. I think it was Jolly Farmer. Yeah, we were playing pool, and I don't know which one of us, or it might have not even been one of us two. Someone put a snooker ball in Russ's pie.
I'm claiming it, but it's not one of these things that I'm willing to sort of die on the hill like certain phrases I think you've stolen from me. Yeah,
yeah.
One of us.
Yeah.
Well, Russ tended to get through these drinks quite quick, and was sort of a little bit oblivious to what was going on around him. So yeah, one of us put a pool ball in his pint of lager. Sorry, it's your story. You carry on telling it.
No. I put a pool ball, and we found that really funny. And he couldn't get it out, could he? So he had to drink his pint really fast.
He left it in to carry on drinking, and then as he turned away again, another one went in from someone.
Yeah.
And he stopped even trying. I think he ended up with 3 in his pint glass. And he stopped even trying to take them out. He was just drinking a pint of lager with 3 pool balls in it.
I wouldn't even say, I can't, you obviously you had to be there, but I wouldn't even say you were furious. You were just so straight-faced drinking this pint with 3 snooker balls. And obviously because of the glass, the snooker balls looks absolutely huge inside his glass.
Yeah, because obviously it kept sort of topping up the liquid because the balls were going in. So he got this nearly full pint.
So every time he got down and pulled another one would go in, so he could never finish his pint, basically. He was just carrying on drinking this one pint. It was unbelievable.
Let's move on to your... I think we've kind of gone 3 each, haven't we? So this will be your last one.
Yeah, my last one. Have you heard of it? Yeah, have you ever heard of the Collier brothers story?
No.
Homer and Langley Collier. So these were 2 brothers who lived together in a 4-story house in Harlem, New York, and they lived outwardly normal lives, churchgoers, good set of God-fearing lads. Harlem at this point, late 1920s, was a really affluent area, but over the years, crime obviously began to increase due to economic downturn, and most of the wealthy people moved out. This scared the brothers, who began to leave their house less and less. Over the time, they'd stop paying the bills, they'd have no gas, no water, no electricity. They'd get water from a pump that were 4 blocks away and just live in total darkness. One of the brothers, Homer, went blind and was later paralysed following a stroke. So his brother Langley just spent all his time looking after him. They became really well known in the area as like weirdos, and people would throw bricks at their houses and stuff like that. They're just total recluses. They stopped paying the mortgage at one point, so police went round. They refused to open the door, so police slammed the door down. As they got there, they found loads of boxes filled with all sorts of objects and garbage that piled up to 6 foot in the air. And they stretched all the way back to the back wall. When they finally got in, Langley just wrote a cheque out for £6,000 and gave it to him, like what we worried about. Langley, by this point, had created tunnels out of all the garbage, and there were rats and cats all over the place, inside and outside.
This is, I mean, not the rats and stuff, but this were making me think of you with the old 442 magazines.
I genuinely have written down me with 442 magazines, exactly the same. Honestly, exactly the same. Gets worse though. On March the 21st, 1947, someone tipped the police off that one of the brothers had died. So the police came round and they couldn't get in because even more garbage had been piled against the door. They tried to remove the junk on the various entrances on the first floor, but it were impossible. So they had to go to the second floor, and they finally managed to get in after removing loads of garbage on the second floor. When they got in, they found that loads of traps had been made from all this junk, just hoping to kill intruders. After 3 hours of avoiding the traps and fighting their way through the junk, they found Homer, the other brother, the paralysed brother, dead in a chair. The autopsy revealed that he'd died of starvation and he'd not eaten for over 3 days. Langley, meanwhile, was nowhere to be seen. So after a large search of 9 states over 3 days, the police decided to search the house again. For 3 weeks, it took the workers to tear through all the garbage on the first floor. There were all sorts there, and this is weird. Over 25,000 books, 14 pianos, and most disturbingly of all, human skeletons and organs in the jar that apparently were the remains of their dad. It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Mm. Well,
anyway,
there's lots of odd stuff going on, yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, eventually, they found the body of Langley, buried below tons of rubbish, just 10 feet away from where his brother had been found. His face was unrecognisable because it had been mostly eaten by all the rats. The autopsy said he died of suffocation. Police think he accidentally set off one of his own traps. Loads of garbage fell on him before he died of suffocation. Homer, obviously paralysed because he'd have just watched his brother slowly suffocate before dying of starvation himself because he couldn't do anything. That, my friends, is my final unusual death.
That's a great story for a light-hearted entertainment.
Bad though, isn't it, that? It's like, there's so many weird things about it. Like, why? I don't know, it's just bizarre. Like, 25,000... I mean, obviously, the 25,000 books is not the main thing here. The skeletons and organs in jar, these were just normal people at one point.
I mean, yeah, I feel so. It's odd to have like a sort of duo of hoarders. Like it.
Yeah.
I get somebody sort of on their own, isolating themselves, hoarding, but they both and the traps is a bit odd as well. Like
I presume they wanted to be that secluded from the world. They thought if anyone comes in, but he got done by his own, didn't he? His own petard.
Hoisted, yeah, by his own petard.
Hoisted by his own petard, yeah. There are pictures of this if people want to see of when the police when they first got into the house. It's just unbelievable. There's just shit all over. I mean, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? I've been to some messy I've been to a guy's flat in London, and I'm not going to say his name, but Christ, just shit everywhere. It's worse than that.
Yeah, I haven't been to that flat, so I have no context. But yeah, okay. I think after that, I'll change the tone. I'll keep it simple. So mine is about a guy called Aeschylus. A Greek playwright. I think Carl Pilkington mentioned this, but I think he got it wrong. But basically, he was a playwright he's kind of noted as an inspiration for a lot of the Greek tragedies, the plays that he left. He was not necessarily his plays became famous, but they in theory inspired a lot of the things that followed. The version that I read, I'm going to go with, is that it had been predicted that his death would be by something falling on him. So he left the city and was sat outside the city gates to protect himself. And an eagle flying over him with a tortoise in its claws dropped it on his head because it thought it was a rock. So,
oh god,
death by tortoise.
Imagine that. Of all the,
that's probably the least likely one with come near, isn't it? Like I've never been near a drop-in tortoise. I don't think.
You got into a couple of fights with some seagulls, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah. I suppose, yeah. So if you're implying the eagle planned it, then maybe I have come close to that because I haven't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's my three. Have you got any more, Liam, on your hit list? Or
no? I mean, I came across a few others. I came across a story of a guy who's kind of. It implied it was his sort of party trick, but I don't quite know how often he did it. But he used to run and jump at his windows of his sort of like office to prove, one, how brave he was, but two, how strong these sort of double glazed windows were. And on one occasion he did it, and he just went straight through it and plummeted to his death. And the only other one that I had to mention was that, and I mean, there's no humour in this at all, really, other than it's it's more this sort of irony of it. What do you call those sort of gadgets that you sort of lean on to make a move? They're like a gyroscopic thing. Like a scooter.
Yeah. What
do you call them? People go on like little tours of them, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
Anyway,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
The name doesn't matter. I think either the owner or the director of the firm was out on one of those on a walk, and he reversed to let a dog go past and fell off a cliff. So,
well, talking of cliffs, the one I saw,
it was the thing that we can't remember that killed him.
There were one that, the one I saw was a guy, I think he was on like a holiday with his family, and they were doing climbing cliffs and stuff. And as a joke to his daughter, he went, "Oh, I'm falling," and he actually did fall off and die. So don't fuck around, basically, when you're on cliffs. That's the moral there.
The irony is, it was the pretending to fall that made him fall.
Yeah.
How were you explained, by the way, irony at school? I wonder if it's the same, because I thought it was a really good explanation. I wonder if you were given the same explanation. Did you have any English class where you learned what irony means?
I can't remember it. I'm sure we will have, but I really can't remember it.
So we were kind of told it was taught as this. The sort of the line behind it is like, little did they know. So they do something, little did they know this would happen as a result of it. But it was told to us in the Roald Dahl story, where I think a woman beats her husband to death with a frozen leg of lamb. She then cooks the leg of lamb and feeds it to the detectives when they get there. And the sort of the irony there is, little did they know they were actually eating the evidence. So right. I thought that was a good explanation. I don't know if that's commonly taught, but that was
a lot of people get mixed up, don't they, with irony? I mean, I think it's an easy one to get. People say, "Oh, irony," when they mean
sometimes they mean sarcasm.
Yeah, that's really annoying. That when someone will say, I don't know, it's fucking football Twitter is shit for this because they're all thickos, and someone will say, I don't know. Oh yes, I really think Brentford are going to win the league this year. What do you? No, I was being ironic. No, you weren't. You were being sarcastic.
Yeah. No. I'm
anyway, I've enjoyed deaths. Always enjoy a death. If anyone's got any funny deaths,
if you remember anything about spontaneous human combustion, or if you remember any unusual deaths, let us know.
And next week I don't know what we're going to do, as we're not going to announce episodes, but we are going to be getting onto some. We've had a lot of requests, and we're going to be getting onto them. Starting from next week, first come, first served, I think it's going to be. So
yeah, we are going to try and get through them. So, I mean, we've got other things lined up, so we can't sort of jump straight into every request straight away, but we will pick them up if we have a look and see that they are worthy of an episode. So yeah,
worthy of remembering. Yeah, and thank you for that, Liam. And I will see you next time. Same place, same time, same bat channel.
What's that of?
Batman.
Is it?
Yeah.
What was it? What am I mixing it up with? Batthink.
Why would it not be Batman? Think about why would it be Bat? Same. Oh no, you might be right. No, it is Batman. It is Batman.
But what do you mean he hasn't got a bat channel? Has he? What's the? Who's saying that?
Let me have a look. Who's saying it? Bat channel. Same bat. Hang on.
It's not going to be same bat, is it?
Same bat channel. Same time, same bat channel. 1966 Batman series. So with the overdub at the end.
So like a sort of voiceover. See you next week. Same time.
Yeah, so same bat time, same bat channel. I'd like to do the old Batmans, to be fair, with Adam. I nearly said Bruce Wayne, Adam West. But yeah. Anyway, same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Who Remembers. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us at whorememberspod@outlook.com. If you are a right-wing fascist, you can find us on Twitter at whorememberspod. Or if you're a wokenaut, you can find us on Blue Sky at whorememberspod. Once again, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time for more remembering.